Hey everybody, welcome to Board Online, Board Offline. Today we're going to be playing a solo game of Hidden Strike American Revolution. Now this is a game that technically plays 1 to 5 players, I believe. 1 to 5. However, when you read the rules, the solo / cooperative rules are the initial set of rules, and then the other versions of the game build out from there. So it really is built as a solo game or as a cooperative game. But the smallest set of rules is the solo. Even the cooperative has a couple of extra rules added onto it for the leaders of that each player is playing as or that they control or whatever it is. So very excited to get into this, show you how this works. Let's get Hidden Strike American Revolution to the table. All right, so here we go. We've got Hidden Strike American Revolution set up for a solo game. The only real difference between the solo and the co-op is that you have Alexander Hamilton as your founding father. His ability is that after resolving a region, you may immediately deploy another card from your hand, then draw back as usual. Resolving is when you basically the battle in that area is resolved and it becomes either British controlled or American controlled. You'll put this card on it for American controlled or British controlled is that side. The way I'll win the game is if I have control of 4 regions at least by the end of the game. That's the minimum to win. Obviously, I'm doing better if I can control more regions. There's 6 total regions here. We got Canada, New England, Northern Colonies, Mid-Atlantic, Tidewater, and Southern Colonies. So my pool of forces are over here. We've got the Continental Army Force pool. There's also local forces in each area. And then the British have local forces as well. And then they have forces that they will be bringing in from the ocean. I also have some allied support over here that I can bring in as well. As far as the strength of these units, if you have a normal cube like this, that's going to be strength 1. If you have this larger rectangular cube, that's 2. And then this very long cube right here is strength 3. The blue is American Militia. The light blue is American Minutemen. These are upgraded militia, which are regulars, and these are upgraded regulars, which are veterans. The purple are Native Americans for either side. The American forces have the 1 power Native Americans. The British have 2 power over here. The orange are British loyalists that are in the colonies. And then over here, we've got grenadiers and veteran grenadiers. We've got dragoons, Hessians, and then these are the British ships and allied ships, and then these are allied troops. If I do manage to get an allied ship in one of the areas like this, and I have more allied ships than there are British ships, then I have successfully blockaded that area, which means none of these forces can be deployed as long as the blockade stands. Blockades, of course, are not going to affect local forces because they are already in these areas. So we're pretty much going to get started. Play is very simple. We're going to draw 3 cards. And I've got Canadian Department. So Canada, deploy the regulars from Canada's local force pool. So I could use that card to deploy these guys here. The way you're going to resolve an area is by having at least 8 power in that area and having at least more than 2 compared to what the other person has. So if I have 8 here and they've got 6 or less, then I'll have resolved this area and it's pretty much done for the game. If I have 8 and they have 7, I haven't resolved it yet because I have to control it by at least 2. We've also got Culper Ring. 2 different options here. Option 1, I could deploy a Minuteman, then look at and, if desired, reorder the top 3 cards of the American draw deck. Or for option 2, I can force any American player to secretly reveal their loyalty card to you. Well, obviously, in solo game, option 1 is the only one I'm using for the Culper Ring. Then Allied troops. The French can only be deployed in a region with an Allied fleet. All right, so let's take a look here. Oh, actually, hold on. Well, the first thing we have to reveal and play the top card from the British draw deck. So we just draw this, and we have the British are going to deploy some Hessians to the Mid-Atlantic. So Mid-Atlantic Hessians come on over, and just like that, they've got 2 power there now. And the Hessians have a special ability: draw and deploy an additional card. So we'll draw that. British fleet counter. So first it would counter any blockades. So there are no blockades right now. So otherwise deploy in unresolved regions, starting with the lowest number and prioritizing regions without a fleet. So basically they prioritize from the top down. So the British are going to deploy a fleet up here. And so now, let's see. I think I will actually go ahead and use Canadian Department to deploy these regulars into that area. And then I draw back up to 3, and that's an entire round. All right, so we have Allied troops. French Lafayette can only be deployed in a region with deployed Native Americans on the American side. Okay. So now let's go ahead and Loyalist Militia, the Northern Colonies. So this special ability would only take effect if the Northern Colonies are resolved. If they're resolved, which they're not. So Loyalist Militia for the Northern Colonies. So these guys go right there. All right, so we'll do Culper Ring. So we're going to deploy a Minuteman, and we'll go ahead and we'll keep working on Canada up here. Yeah, we'll work on that. Then it says I can reorder the top 3 cards of the American draw deck. So let's take a look. We've got, okay, so here's where we can get an Allied fleet, which would be useful for what we've got going on here with our other 2 cards in our hand. Here we've got the militia, deploy 1 militia as usual, then move 1 militia from any local force pool to an adjacent local force pool. And then another militia here that just allows you to deploy. So we'll do Allied fleet first, then the reconcentration militia, and then the regular militia. All right, then we only have 2 cards, so we got to draw, and of course we get the Spanish Allied fleet. All right. British are going Seneca, Northern Colonies. Right here. And then it says special ability, select 1 card from your hand and place it at the bottom of the American draw deck before playing or discarding cards. So we'll put French Lafayette on the bottom. Okay. And so now I will deploy the Allied fleet, the Spanish. And so I could deploy it up here, which would let me bring some Allied troops in, but it would not create a blockade. Whereas down here, you can see they have 4 strength there already. If I put a blockade up there, now, unless they match that, and unless they bring another ship in here to bust the blockade, they won't be able to bring any troops in from outside the colonies. All right, and now I draw back up. We've got the reconcentration militia and the regular militia. The British are going to Loyalist militia in the Northern Colonies again. Oh man, they're at 6 already here. This is rough. Okay. Let's see if we can head that off. We'll do Allied troops. All right. Can only be deployed in a region with an Allied fleet, so we're going to throw those in right there. We get another militia card. Crossing the Delaware. If deployed in the Northern Colonies, force march 1 deployed American troop up to 2 points from any unresolved region to the Northern Colonies. All right. So that actually... Okay, hopefully they don't do another Northern Colonies card here. Southern Colonies. All right, Loyalist militia right there. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We'll do crossing the Delaware. All right, so that's going to put a militia into the Northern Colonies. And then we can force march 1 deployed American troop of up to 2 points, which will be these regulars right here. from any unresolved region to the northern colonies. So now we're at 5. Now, it's not going to save us if they manage to get somebody else in there, but all of their local force is already gone. They have to bring somebody from the outside, and I have it blockaded, so they can't until they bust that blockade. We got Catawba. Tidewater would be able to deploy our Native American forces there. All right, so the British, Canada Loyalist Militia. Okay. All right. So now we want to keep working away here at the northern colonies. So we'll play militia with reconcentration. So this militia, that militia comes out to there, and then we can we'll bring this one down. So we're at 6 right now. We got the PD, Native Americans in the southern colonies. All right. Northern colonies, dragoons, so they cannot bring anybody in because I have it blockaded. So if the northern colonies are under blockade or resolved, then station the dragoons in the local force pool of the lowest numbered unresolved region. So the dragoons, they try to come here, they can't. So instead they're going to go up here. And then what's going to happen is we will actually deploy them next turn instead of drawing another British forces card. All right. So what we'll do here now is we'll actually discard this card to upgrade. I didn't explain upgrading. To upgrade your militia, you discard a card. If you're playing multiple people, you discard it face down so nobody knows what you got rid of. Obviously, don't have to playing solo. So we'll discard that. This goes back to the force pool, and this comes in. And so now we're at 7 here. So next time if we upgrade this one or just bring in another militia, then we will have resolved the northern colonies. We've got another Culper Ring, option 1, which is the only one we can use. Deploy a Minuteman, then look at and, if desired, reorder the top 3 cards of the American drill deck. All right, so British dragoons are going to the southern colonies. All right, and you know what? We'll use the Culper Ring to bring a Minuteman out here. That makes this 8 to 6. So we now have resolved the northern colonies. Where is it? Here we go. Nope. Northern colonies. And for the most part, all the forces that are here are stuck here. There are a few cards that can move them, but they now are basically inactive. All right, we got light cavalry, force march, deploy a Minuteman and move 1 deployed American troop up to 2 points from any unresolved region to any other unresolved region. All right, so now, did I forget last time? Yeah, I think I did. Last time these guys should have deployed, and then this time is when the southern colonies would have gotten their dragoons. Anyway, so it all works out. It didn't change anything. Okay, so where do we want to focus in on now? This place is in the most, this place is in the most danger, but I have soldiers already started up here, so maybe this is where I should focus up in Canada. Southern colonies, Tidewater. I think, you know what? We'll deploy the Native Americans down in the southern colonies. All right, we've got Stockbridge Mohicans for New England up here. Deploy the Native Americans. All right, then we've got the British up here going, the Mohawks in Canada. So they're going to deploy these guys. That puts them at 6 now in Canada. Special ability, select 1 card from your hand and place it at the bottom of the American draw deck. I feel like either the Stockbridge Mohicans or the Catawba. So Tidewater or New England. I'll do it for New England. So that's going to go to the bottom. All right. So the problem with this Minutemen, with this light cavalry, is that the forced march portion I can't use because this is a resolved area. I can only pull American forces from an unresolved area. Minutemen are not labeled as American, so I'm pretty sure I can't force march the Minutemen. So I guess I'll deploy the Catawba for now. Oh, I'm sorry, not there. Tidewater down here. Yeah. And then we've got Siege. Automatically increase the victory total to win the region to 12 with 2 points to clear. Place the gray siege marker in the siege space in the region under the siege. So I could conduct a siege up here in Canada because they're so close to winning there. Allied troops, French, can only be deployed in a region with Native Americans deployed on the American side. So I could deploy the French here. And I believe I don't have to have... No, I think I do still. It's Allied troops, and this does say very clearly Allied troops can only be deployed in a city where an Allied fleet is present. So I do think I still have to have the fleet. All right. So anyway, we got to do the British side here. Hessians to the southern colonies. Oh, boy. All right. So now that's at 6. And Hessians to Canada. Because remember, the Hessians always have you draw again. Oh, and Canada now. They just took Canada. So Canada is under British control. All right. And now, again, have to draw again because it's the Hessians. Oh, my gosh. What's going on? Hessians to New England. Oh, I forgot. I'll do it this time. I forgot to use Alexander Hamilton's ability. So I'll deploy 2 cards this time. When I took control of that, was it... I think I only would have had this card. So this will have to be one of the cards I play this time. Gotta draw again. All right, Grenadiers. Deploy in the region not under blockade where the British are closest to losing. They're not really close to losing anywhere. Or where they're ahead by the least number of points. Oh, I guess technically it'd be this one because I'm ahead by 1. So Grenadiers are going to come here. All right. So let's play this first, and then we'll play one other card. Yeah, we'll just have the forced march thing's just not going to work right now. Minutemen to... We'll do it here to southern colonies. And we will play Siege. So southern colonies are now going to take 12 to take over. Got light cavalry with forced march again, and raid on Fort Ticonderoga, or Roga. Option 1, remove 1 deployed 2-point British troop from either Canada, New England, or the northern colonies, except Native Americans. Or I can deploy a Minutemen unit. All right. Here we've got counter a blockade. All right, so this is coming here. Now, here, this is interesting. It says counter blockades. I think because this is considered inactive now, this blockade wouldn't count because that wouldn't make any sense for it to counter that. So otherwise deployed in an unresolved region, so it would go here. All right, so... don't have any really good options here. I'll just use this raid card to remove I'll remove these guys. They actually get removed from the board, it says. We've got publication of Common Sense, a civil boost. Option 1, recruit a loyalist. Remove one deployed loyalist from the British side of the region to the American side. That's pretty cool. So I could like recruit this guy to my side. Or option 2, deploy a Minuteman. All right, the Brits have Grenadiers deploy in the region not under blockade where the British are closest to losing or least ahead. Let's see. They're only ahead by 1 here. So that would be it. Okay. All right, so I will definitely play the publication of Common Sense and recruit these guys to my side. So now I've got 4 and they've got 4. We've got the Mi'kmaq, Canada. So this one we'll use for sure to upgrade a militia if I get some more militia out. Dragoons to the Mid-Atlantic, right here. All right. See, I wonder, give me a second. Let me look up this French card for Allied troops, see if it has to have. Okay, so from what I can tell, this actually should say that it requires an Allied fleet, not Native Americans, and that Lafayette is the only one with the Native American requirement and not the fleet. So, all right, so in that case, we really don't have much of a choice other than to use Minutemen again, and we'll send them, we're going to send them down here. We're going to start trying to take the southern colonies. All right, we've got a scout. This is a cool card. I can look at the top 3 cards of the British draw deck and then either rearrange them as I see fit and then deploy Minutemen, or place one of them at the bottom of the British deck and then return the remaining 2 to the top in any order. All right, so the British Dragoons to Tidewater. Oh boy. All right, so we'll definitely do scout. We're going to take the top 3 cards of the deck. All right, so they're going to send out a fleet. Well, first they would send out the Grenadiers, which would go to here. All right, because I'm ahead by 1 there. Dragoons to New England, not a huge problem. The counter to the blockades isn't a huge issue either. I think I'll actually send the Dragoons to the bottom of the deck. That's what I'm going to do. All right, and then I draw Militia, Paul Revere. If deployed in New England, force march 1 deployed American troop up to 2 points from any unresolved region in New England. All right, so the British send out a fleet. They're going to go here. All right, well, I guess I'll do Paul Revere. I'm not going to be able to use his full ability, but we'll send that out there. All right, we've got an Allied fleet. That'll be useful here in a second. All right, Grenadiers are going to come down here. All right, so we will definitely Dutch fleet. We'll send it here to blockade that for now. And I get militia. The British Grenadiers deploy where they are losing. They are not losing anywhere. Where they're winning by the least amount. It's 1 here. It's also 1 up here. So this breaks the tie because it's higher. So Grenadiers are coming up here. All right, Allied troops. The French are going to come here. So that puts us at 6, 7. Remember, we got to get to 12 there now. That might have been a mistake in retrospect. We got sharpshooter. Option 1, remove 1 grenadier from any unresolved region, or option 2, deploy a Minuteman. Loyalist militia in the mid-Atlantic. Okay. All right, we're going to use militia. We're going to deploy this militia here. So now we're at 8. We got women at war. Option 1, promote 2 militia deployed in the same region. That's a very cool option right there. Hessians are going to the northern colonies. No, they're not, because nothing's there. The special ability doesn't happen because the Hessians didn't deploy. So that is good. Let's see. We will use this card for the Mi'kmaq in Canada. We'll discard that to upgrade these 2 regulars and a militia. All right. Loyalists in Canada, that doesn't happen. So if Canada is resolved, station the local loyalist force pool. Station in the local force pool of the lowest number unresolved. So this will go here. All right, so we'll do that next time. Or I'll just keep it here. That'll help us remember. All right, we're going to use militia, deploy any one militia from its local force pool. So we'll go here. So now we're at 9. We've got allied troops, can only be deployed in a region with an allied fleet. All right, so now this happens. That comes in. All right, now we're actually going to take some preventative measures up here. Sharpshooter, option 1, remove 1 grenadier from any unresolved region. So this grenadier gets taken out. All right, so that buys us some time up there. And a militia card. All right, so for the British, we've got Hessians go to Tidewater. Oh, no, and they won Tidewater. This is not good. All right. Then we got to draw another card because they're Hessians. Loyalist militia to the southern colonies. Okay. We will do women at war. So option 1, promote 2 militia. That's what we're going to do. So now we are at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. We just need 1 more there, and we have it. And we got Declaration of Independence, re-enlistment. Option 1, force march 1 American troop up to 2 points, or 2 troops for a maximum of 3 points, if publication of common sense is already played, which I did play that earlier, from a resolved region to an unresolved region. All right, so we will be using that for sure. Let's see, we've got, so this is going to, let's see, landing party. If British are tied or losing in the target region, deploy a grenadier in the same region, even if it is still under blockade. All right, so the fleet, I'm pretty sure the fleet's always, even though it doesn't say here, it always targets blockaded areas. So it goes here. Oh, wow. And then throws a grenadier down here. Wow. So that's at 10. But we're going to win it right now. Militia, deploy this guy here. That puts it at 12. So now we have taken the southern colonies. And let's see, we get Culpering, okay? All right, so now we have 2 and the British have 2. So I can't lose either of the other 2. Oh, Alexander Hamilton. All right, let's don't forget that. So we don't have Culpering yet. We have to use what we've got here. So let's see, basically Declaration of Independence is really the only thing really for us to use. Force march 1 American troop up to 2 points, or 2 troops up to 3 points from a resolved region. So we'll do the regulars and the militia from this resolved region to New England. And that puts it at 5-4 now. And then draw back up. We have obviously the Culper Ring and then Militia. All right. Shawnee at Tidewater, which is resolved, so that doesn't happen. But I do. Oh no, I don't do the special ability because they don't deploy. All right. So we will play the Culper Ring. So deploy a Minuteman up here, and then we can look at the top 3 cards of the American Draw deck and then reorder it. So we've got Northern Colonies. It's not really helpful. Militia Reconcentration, that could be helpful. Scouts, definitely help. So we'll leave it in that order right there. All right, and we've got another scout. All right. The British are sending out another fleet. So they would normally send it to break up a blockade. There is no active blockade. And the only 2 places are these 2. Both have the same number of ships already, so they'll send it up here. All right, so I think we'll play Scout. All right, so we get to look at the top 3 British cards. 1, 2, 3. Mid-Atlantic Loyalist Militia, that could be problematic. New England, also a problem. The deck's not, like, it might be better for me, though, to deploy something rather than send something to the bottom of the deck because there's not a lot left there. Grenadiers, not great either. Oh, I just realized something. It wouldn't have... I think I messed up the second Grenadiers. I think they should have been veteran Grenadiers. And that might have made this area stay contested for longer. If I mess that up, then I'm sorry. We will keep that in mind in the future. Okay. So we're just going to reorder it. We're going to do New England, Mid-Atlantic, and the Grenadiers. Oh, I never redrew a card. Okay. So I've got... Oh, that's right, because I had to finish Scout. So deploy a Minuteman here. All right. So we're at 6, 7. We're at 7. So this is going to be New England. And then we will... Yeah, we'll do Militia into New England, and that's 8. So 8 to their 6. So we got that, and so now we're just going to be fighting over the Mid-Atlantic and see what we can do here. Northern Colonies, which obviously not a huge help other than to use to upgrade some militia here in a minute. So they are off to a really good start here. We're going to have to work some magic. All right, so we'll play Militia, and then the Reconcentration will bring this down here. And okay, we got a fleet, so that's good. That could be real good. Oh, and they won because Grenadiers are going to go here. And that's it. So thanks so much for watching. This has been a fun game to get into. Very easy to get into. As far as the rules go for this game, when you open it up, it looks like it's going to be quite a bit. But the rules for solo and cooperative start on page 2, obviously, and only go through the first column of page 8. All the rest of this stuff is additional modes of play, as well as like card explanations and stuff like that. So pretty straightforward, and there's ways to adjust the difficulty, and like I said, various modes of play as well. So yeah, Good times. Be sure to come back. I may do a actual instructional video for this, but I mean, like I said, you pretty much can gather how to play just from watching this. And until next time, if you're bored online, board offline.